Hi guys, it's Kelly here and I am back with another video. Today's video is part of a blog hop for the new Pinkfresh Studios April release. I am using the Magnolias stamps, dies, and stencils and the floral tile cover plate die. So you guys know I love me some flowers. They have such beautiful releases. It was hard for me to make a choice, but this big magnolia just kind of drew me in and I couldn't turn away. So before we get too close into the video, this is part of a blog hop and there are prizes. So I will have the blog linked below if you're watching on YouTube. Pinkfresh is generously giving away the entire release on their blog and YouTube. And then throughout the hop, they're giving away 10 $25 gift cards among people who comment on the blog hop. So that's definitely something worth heading over for, as well as all the wonderful designers who are super talented and have so much inspiration. So back to the card. Here I have used the Pinkfresh Studios black hybrid ink to stamp this down. I am going to be coloring it with the stencil. I shouldn't say I have a lot of colored inks. I have colored inks. My own personal stash for a long time was just Hero Arts because that's the company that I kind of like fell in love with at the beginning. And so that's what I had the most of. And then as I started working for other people, I started accumulating inks. Most of my inks are pretty old. And some of them are not even carried anymore. So I wanted to give the Pinkfresh Studio inks a try. Because the little cubes all come together as like little color families. This is the route that I chose to go, though they do have full-size ink pads. And they all have adorable little names. Like this little yellow one is Rise and Shine. And then the pink one that I used is called Fairy Dust. They're just adorable little names for their inks. So you did see me using the little bitty blending brush to do the yellow in the center. I'm going to be honest with you. Ultimately, you ended up not even being able to see that. I wanted to do a lighter pink magnolia. That is how I see them in my head. When I picture them, it's usually not the darker colored ones, though I think that they're beautiful. Usually I see it with the lighter colored pinks. And so in order to achieve that look, I did use the little bitty blending brushes to add color there. It worked fairly well. It left my ends, like the end of my petals, nice and light. But I did eventually go back in and make them just a little bit darker so that I would have a little bit of depth in addition to adding the other stencil layers. I think this will be a beautiful flower to color with my Copics when I have time to do that. This week has been crazy wild and I am so backed up. Let's talk about these pinks again here for just 1 second. So in this fairy dust pack, there's 4 colors, which I love all of them, but the bubblegum color, I'm here for. I am here for this bubblegum color. It's such a beautiful like magenta, and you'll see I'm going to add the darkest part of the shading here with it in just 1 second. And I was totally smitten with this color pink. It might be a second to my boyfriend. I'm going to be honest with you. I really super loved it. And so I added that extra little bit of shading to the buds, but I did not add it to the large flower. And then since I stamped 2 of these to make 2 different cards, I'm just going to move this over. I'm not even going to clean off the stencil because I'm using the same pinks. And this is the one I'm going to go a little bit darker with. So my base for these ones is the sparkling rose. And then I'll go all the way up to the darkest, which is the raspberry bliss. And I liked this one too. And I mean, really, at the end of the day, when I made the card, like when they came together, I think this one was the one I preferred with the darker shading. But I think they're both really pretty. So you, of course, I want to know what you think. So tell me what you think in the comments below. So this whole week has just been nuts. I'm so backed up on all of the things that I have to accomplish because of my technical difficulties. I totally appreciate you guys sympathizing with me in my last video. I am relatively comfortable with computers. I've pretty much been using them since I was in 5th grade. Back when, the pixelated Oregon Trail was how we spent computer lab. And a lot of you were like, oh, my grandkids help me with my computer or whatever, which actually is just really very sweet to me because I used to help Graham. I used to help Graham with her computer because she didn't understand the way a lot of things worked. And so those are just nice memories for me. But anyway, so for the most part, I am relatively comfortable with them. This is the second video I have edited with this new software, and you guys said the other voiceover sounded louder and clearer, and brighter was a word that was used more than once, and so I'm super excited about that. I do think I will be able to get more comfortable with this. It's just frustrating. I'm sure that you know that. Anytime you have like a good old standby, and things kind of get changed on you unexpectedly, it's a little bit frustrating. But also I realize that since I don't like change, my change will almost always be unexpectedly because because I won't voluntarily do it. You know what I'm saying? So here I chose, so when I purchased the ink cubes, I purchased a more traditional green, and then I purchased a blue green. And so what the ones I'm using here for these flowers is the blue green one, and this is, I think it's Island, yeah, it's Island Oasis, and these are super pretty colors. So here, even though I don't have any extra stenciling going on, you did see that I went in there with a couple of different colors just to kind of build my dimension, because that's the look that I prefer. The stencils on their own are beautiful, and you could totally do that without adding any extra shading, but that's just me. And then for this one, I'm going to use the more traditional greens, which is called Garden Stroll. And so I'm going to do it the same exact way. But yeah, so I do think that I will be able to make this video editor work for me. I'm just having a week of it, and that's okay. It's all right. I know rationally it will not always be like this. I will not always be this tired. But because of, this is so funny. Okay. So normally when I'm at work, I have some downtime, and during our downtime, as long as our work is done, they really don't care how you spend your time. And so sometimes I do spend that time video editing. And here's the problem. You can't bank on it. You know what I'm saying? So my computer broke Monday night. I took it in on Tuesday, which means all of Tuesday was a loss for any video work for me. Then Tuesday night, I went into work. I was able to figure out how to edit that first video, though it did take me a lot of time. I was able to figure that out. So Wednesday night, my game plan was to edit this video because I knew I needed it for today, and then go work on the next video, which I need for Saturday. And so that was the game plan going forward. Well, when I went into work on Wednesday, we dispatched for 7 different cities, and I had a particularly busy city, and they always are, and they are crazy busy, and from pretty much 10:30 until 3:30 they just run traffic, and there's like 8 of them, 9 of them, 9 of them, yeah, something like that. And they just traffic stop, traffic stop, traffic stop, traffic stop, traffic stop, traffic stop, traffic stop. And that's pretty much all that I did. And I actually like their channel. They're my second favorite, because I don't mind. It makes my night go by very fast, but that just means that I didn't edit anything. So then now we're into Wednesday, or I'm sorry, that was Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. I slept Wednesday. I traffic stopped all night. And then now we're into Thursday. So yesterday I did, I had to sleep a little bit because I, worked. So I had to sleep in a little bit. And then I also had a doctor's appointment, which was my follow-up for my skin cancer. And so that kind of cut into my productivity. And now here we are on Friday. Back to the card. So here, I do think I was a little heavy-handed with the shading, especially on the large Magnolia, where it has um like such a lighter color. It makes a little bit more sense on the smaller buds. But like I said, if I had to do it over again, I probably would be a little less heavy-handed with it. Now, I will say, as it dried back, like looking at it as I am looking at it in person, it does not look that dark as it was originally. It kind of lightened up a little bit, and I'm not sure if that's just a combination of the ink drying or me going over it with like the clear wink of Stella, but it does seem to be not as abrasive in real life as it does look on the computer screen. So now once that shading is done, I'm going to move on to the shading for the leaves. And again, I just went in with the darkest color of each ink cube and added that in. So now we're on to Friday morning after I went for my follow-up. And then I was up late. It was my fault. I was up late editing this video because I didn't have any other time to get it done. And I was like, okay, I'll go to bed. I'll get about 5-ish hours based on when Miss Caitlin normally gets up, or when I have to get her up because I got to feed her, change her, all that stuff, get her ready for the day before I take Peanut to school. And so Miss Caitlin was like, nah, ma, nope, I'm going to get up at 20 after 6. Yep, that happened. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Now, would this be a big deal, say, yesterday? No, because yesterday Eric took her to daycare. So he gets her up typically around 6:30-ish to feed her, get her packed up and take her to daycare. Now, I know what some of you are saying. Well, Kelly, if she's getting up at 6:30 normally, then you can't blame her for waking up at 6:30 on her own. But she doesn't get up at 6:30 normally. Normally, she gets up closer to 7. So she woke up super early. So then I'm up out of bed super early. And then Nathan didn't want to get out of bed at all. So it's just been that kind of morning. You know what I'm saying? It's just the season of life that we're in right now where it's wild and crazy. So I finally got him out of bed on try number 3. At this point, she got up at 6:30, I changed her, fed her, whatever. And then at probably about 7:30, quarter after 7, she was like rubbing her eyes. Oh, we have to go back to the card. So here, I didn't have a brown ink from Pinkfresh. So I made my own because that's what knowing the color wheel will do for you. So I put down the yellow as my base. It was a little bit too bright. Then I put a little bit. Now, these are all just what's left over on my foam pad. I put a little bit of the pink that was left over, and then I covered that with the green, and I got brown, and that's how I did both of the cards there. I did have to go in on the lighter one with a Copic marker just to fill in the center. You could not really see it with the pink that was over top of it, so I needed to go back in and just kind of color that in. I am going to outline all of my images because I like a bold black outline, but it's certainly not necessary. So, she's ready to nap, of course, way too early because she got up way too early. So I get her all changed and everything, and then I snuggle her into her car seat. So that way when she falls asleep, I won't wake her up to put her in her car seat. She'll already be in there. Then I commence waking Peanut up. 3rd try, he gets out of bed. I do his breakfast. And then I'm telling him, like, it's 37 outside. It's going to be 61 today. You probably need a sweatshirt, at least for in the morning. You don't have to wear a big heavy coat or anything, but at least a sweatshirt. And so he comes downstairs and he's like, I need my allergy medicine. Okay, did you brush your teeth? No, I didn't. He has no sweatshirt on. Okie doke. Back to the card. So here I wanted to give them a little bit of a platform to sit on. And so I picked the lightest color in each one of the ink cube collections for the greens that I used. And then I'm just going to real lightly add in a little background color where I'm going to put my flowers at. So he does his eye drops and does his nose spray. He does that on his own. He says he wants to take a Benadryl, which is fine. He takes a half a Benadryl for his allergies. So I'm like, okay, I'll cut the Benadryl in half while you go upstairs and brush your teeth. So he does. He comes back downstairs. He takes the Benadryl. He still has on no sweatshirt. I'm like, dude, are you getting a sweatshirt? What is happening here? In the meantime, like, I've grabbed his computer. I've grabbed his lunchbox. I've put that in his backpack. And he was like, I don't think I have a clean one. And I'm like, no, I think you do. And then I was like, listen, we have to go. And he's like, no, I'm not sure that I have. I'm like, never mind. I'll just go get it myself. Now, normally I'm not that kind of mom. Normally I'm the mom who's like, you go do it. It's your business. This isn't on me. This is on you. Back to the card. So here is that beautiful floral tile cover plate. I'm going to put this through on for both of the backgrounds on the card. I'm just making my purple tape a little bit less sticky. I'm not really a big fan of the purple tape so much anymore as of recent videos, but I'm almost done with this roll and I paid for it, so I'm going to ride this baby out. Okay. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to have this argument. I'm just going to go upstairs and get the sweatshirt. So I walk upstairs and literally there is a clean folded sweatshirt sitting on his chair. Right there. Right in my eyes. Like right in my line of sight. You didn't even have to look for it. You could not have missed it. So anyway, grab a sweatshirt. I go downstairs. He's putting on his sweatshirt. We finally get all of that together. As I'm carrying the car seat out to the car, Miss Caitlin wakes up. Fortunately, she's not unhappy. So she's just, kind of waking up. I'm trying to drop her off at daycare on my way to drop off Peanut at school. I know I'm cutting it close, but I'm like, if I'm in and out, I should be okay. Right? Oh, the best laid plans. Yeah. So as I'm pulling into the driveway of the daycare, Nathan says to me, Mom, do you have a burp cloth? And I was like, why did she spit up? And he was like, a lot more than just spit up. Like, it's all over her and her car seat. Perfect, because I'm not trying to rush or anything. Like, I mean, this is the best time to spit up all over yourself and everything that you're sitting in. Why wouldn't you do that? So I get out, I get a baby wipe out of her bag. I clean her up as best I can. I take her in, I hand her over to the wonderful lady at her daycare, and I tell her specifically, hey, listen, I cleaned her up as best I could, but I don't know what you're going to find when you take her out of her car seat. Like, it could be under her straps. I'm not positive. And she was like, no, we're cool. It's good. So I get back into the car, and now the spit up incident cost me minutes I did not have to give it. And so now I'm rushing to get Peanut to school. Thankfully, we got there with 3 minutes to spare. And then I was done with the drop off. Praise Jesus. So then I come back home. The game plan when I come home is I'm going to come in, I'm going to come up here, I'm going to do this voiceover, and then I'm going to save this video. And while this video is saving, I am going to obviously do all of the things that I normally do for a YouTube video, but I am also going to email myself my photos so that I can post them on Instagram and Facebook because I typically do share them there as well. And I come upstairs and the software, the brand new video editing software that I just purchased will not open. It won't open, guys. It won't do it. And I'm like, why is this happening? Why? So I vent to my wonderful husband, who sends me back rut row because he already knows I'm having some kind of day. He listens to me vent very patiently, which I genuinely appreciate. And then he's like, I'm sorry that you ended up so far behind. Which, I appreciate. Just listen to me complain for my brief moment in time. I will get over it and I will move on and I will get the things done. But sometimes you just need a minute to put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Just got to be heard. So I uninstalled the software, I reinstalled the software, and then I restarted my computer. That seemed to do the trick because here we are doing this video and the voiceover. So I'm hoping, genuinely hoping, that the sound quality is as good as it was last time. I have no reason to believe that it wouldn't be, but because I had to uninstall it and reinstall it, it looks a little bit different on my end of things than it did before. So I'm just a little bit apprehensive because change. So here with the cards, what I've been doing is I just kind of laid them out where I wanted them to go, and I'm doing my best to kind of hold the little parts in place while I put the glue down. So that way, I don't have to start all over from scratch. I have a rough idea of where they're going to go, and I just keep kind of double checking it with the large flower in the center, that everything is looking tucked in the way that I want it to. And then for both cards, I went ahead and popped up the flower in the center on foam tape. I will tell you that at this point, I did leave sentiments off of them. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with these cards, if I'm going to sell them or if I'm going to use them. The pair of them might be good for like my sister's Mother's Day's cards. I'm not really sure yet. Here I hadn't originally put this little bud on the lighter colored one, but I decided I had room for it and I was just going to tuck it right in there. So yeah, I'm not sure for the sentiments yet, but there'll be something that goes on them and I'll use them because they're really pretty. So here I'm adding the shimmer, and then just for a little bit something different, a little bit of added texture, different look, I did go in and add some glossy accents just to the center of the large magnolias. Like I said, just to kind of break it up and add some interest. I really do love this floral tile dye background. And using it with like on the white, it's enough that it adds some interest to the background, but not so much that it distracts away from my flowers, which is really what I was looking for. So that is it. Those are both cards. I hope that you'll head over to the blog and participate in the hop. Don't forget your chance to win. The new release is amazing. That will also be linked below for you to check out. Thank you guys so much for spending your time with me, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye.